back. Season 83, day 7. Oh, let's see. This is what we got in on defense. I'm trying to mix it up each time, see what's working, what's not working. Nothing seems to work. Anyways, that's what I got on defense. Get out of there, T-Mobile, stupid thing. Okay. Let's see what Iron Man has got. Okay. Should be an easy win for Harrison. So, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about some giants today. Yeah, you look at like pretty much every ancient culture or civilization has like stories of giants. And you got your Titans, you got your Trolls, you got the Epic of Gilgamesh, you got Nephilim, you got Anakim, you got all these stories of these giants and pictures. You got huge buildings with doors like 50 feet high or higher. Why would you put a door in your building like 50 feet high? Doesn't even, I mean, look at any modern structure. Do you see any 50-foot high doors unless you have something like 50-foot high going in and out of there? Look at, I mean, you got the space shuttle thing and stuff like that with the big old huge doors on them. Why would you have doors 50, 60, 70 feet high on your building if you guys are only like 6 feet tall? And furthermore, how are you going to even build something like that? That's just crazy. So if you look back in what like the Bible says about fallen angels, and also you have Enoch, you have Jasher, Jubilees, you have Epic of Gilgamesh, you have the Titans, you have a bunch of, there's one, the Book of the Giants, I think it's called, also just a ton of like ancient historical references to giants and the like. So I'm going to be kind of all over with this. It was because I'm trying to do this while I'm talking, and I'm not really good at multitasking. But, hey, buddy. Hi. Hi, buddy. Yeah, it's just really interesting. And then you look at, like, the flood in the biblical account, and everyone just pretty much got wiped out, right? Hi. Hi, kitty. Boogie Bear. And people are like, wow, God is just such a monster. He just wiped everybody out. That's just so horrible. How could he do that? And then, but if you look into it, it says like all of the flesh was corrupted on earth. And it doesn't, the Bible doesn't really go into it a whole lot. I mean, unless you look at the other books like Jasher, Enoch, Jubilees, and they're talking about, hi. My cat's in here. Looks like this guy's gonna beat me probably. Anyways, they're talking about the flesh being corrupted, and then if you look into what it's talking about in the other books, it's talking about the fallen angels, and you got half man, half angel things, and not only that, they're messing with I'm gonna lose this one, aren't I? They're messing with the animals. So look at all the Greek mythological things and ancient cultures that have half man, half goat things, satyrs, minotaurs, half snake, all these different things. I'd like the mixing of animals and mixing of humans and all this with DNA and stuff like that. And you can't tell me that wasn't going on back then, because they could do it now with cloning. They've been putting ears on making like monkeys and junk, all kinds of weird stuff. And that's just what they're letting us know. So you know that what they're not telling us is way past that, because they only reveal like, hey, this is, I better be able to beat this guy. So it's pretty crazy. If you think about it, it's pretty insane. So that explains why God would wipe out everything, because you got half angel, half human, you got half animal, half other thing on there, and it says all the flesh was corrupted. So they got wiped out. And if you look at pretty much all ancient stuff, they have stories of superheroes. I mean, look at all the Greek gods and everything like that. So you look at an angel, and then what would a part angel, part man be? Like literally, it would be a superhero. They didn't just make up all these stories of these guys with special powers. It had it says you had the men of old, the men of renown, dudes that were like legit. Basically, they were superheroes. Look at the Greek mythology. I'm thinking none of that stuff's really mythological. It's like actually just telling us what was going on. You had guys that were half angel, the offspring of angels or whatever. That's what it was. And you can look into that, and now it makes sense because of all the references and everything to that in antiquity. I don't know. I'll try these stupid Harrison ones. I hate these ones, but I'll give it a shot. Did I mess up my thing? So it's just kind of interesting. There's a website out there called like evilbible.com, and they're like, oh, God's just a monster, just wiped out everybody. And then in the Old Testament, you had the Israelites just taking people out too. But then you just kind of look into that. They had the Amorites and the Jebusites and the Perizzites and the Hittites and all these ites. And it says these guys were literally just, every thought and intention of their mind was only wicked all the time. You're going to throw that ship on me, aren't you? Nope, it didn't. Okay. Sacrificing their children to idols and burning just all kinds of wickedness, right? So the Israelites wiped them out, and God used different kingdoms as a judgment against other kingdoms that were doing wickedness. But the whole giant thing is really kind of intriguing to me. Really kind of interesting. I mean, you could dig into it, and you could look up like cave drawings and ancient. Why was my auto off? Okay. Manuscripts and hieroglyphics and all these things pointing towards giant things like the sphinxes. And look at that. What is the Sphinx? It's like a half animal, half man thing. Why would you build that? Why are all their gods like legit superheroes and junk like that? And then what do we have nowadays? We have all these, in the movies, we have all these superheroes and stuff that everyone's looking up to. And the scripture says, as in the days of Noah, it'll be in the end times. It will be again. So they had giants in the land back then. So what's stopping that from happening now? What's stopping? There's nothing. Well, they have the mixing of things already. You have people cloning things, junk like that going on. And then you have the UFOs, which I think are nothing more than either like demonic activity, which the CIA just pretty much came out and said that it's demonic. Who was that one guy he was the director of whatever, and he just recently came out not too long ago, and he was saying, hey, this stuff is going on, and they said, this is demonic stuff that's happening, which is pretty not really surprising. And if you look at what demons actually are, they were the spirits of the giants that died. and that specifically says that in Enoch. Die, Allie, die, 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 die. Can't believe she missed my ballistas there. So all that, it's kind of intriguing if you start looking into that. It's like, man, that makes a lot of sense why God would like wipe them out. Okay, anybody want to hit Allie? But it's just kind of interesting, and then you look at what, like, good golly, just keeps on tanking. That was bullcrud. And you look at, like, UFOs and stuff like that, and I don't know. Probably all you guys are just like, man, this guy is nuts. But you look at pretty much all UFO things where people have been abducted or whatever, and what do they do with them? They mess with them, like their reproductive stuff, and I mean, maybe if a couple people just said that's what's going on, but it's like literally all of them that get abducted have these stories of these aliens like messing with them, and it's just like, man, what are they trying to do there? Look at like Skinwalker Ranch and different stuff they say like happening to the animals, and if these are actually demons and stuff, there's no difference in what they were doing before, messing with God's creation and making it, twisting it, So it's just kind of interesting. I've come to the conclusion that Greek mythology and all that stuff, Hinduism and all their gods and junk, are not so much myth as they're legit. This is what these things were. Not fake things at all. Why would you have every culture with these stories of these things with superhero ability and multiple arms and the head? Look at the Hindu gods. You have tons of half creature, half man things. So why would that be the case? These people just make stuff up and be like, yeah, I'll think a satyr or a minotaur or something with snake heads or something like that. Just all this weird stuff. And you're like, dude, where people just had like really creative imaginations, or was this stuff legit going on? And that is what I think. I've come to the conclusion that is actually what was happening back then. And because it's not just like one or two cultures, it's like all of them. So to discount that, you would just have to say like they were all like what? They just all had this fanciful idea that there were half human, half creature things out there, So it's just interesting. That would make sense why God would just wipe out all the people with the flood there. Everything that had the breath of life in it got wiped out. So you had all these giants and half creature things, just the mixing of DNA and things like that. And that's what you're going to have going on pretty soon, and probably already have going on in the background. People messing with DNA, people messing with the creation of things. And behind that, demonic forces. And you guys laugh or whatever. That's silliness. Okay, just go to lyrics.com and look how many songs said they sold their soul to the devil. And you're like, yeah, that's stupid. Why is there thousands and thousands of songs and lyrics that saying they sold their soul to the devil? You have like famous, no way you hit my guys there, you cheater, you're bullcrud cheater. Many super famous celebrities have come out and said that. And how do you get that? Oh, I made a deal with the devil. And it's just like, it's a funny thing. Like, oh, that's so funny. Like Bob Dylan. There's tons of them that came out and said that. I can't believe this guy actually hit the back of my guys there. That's bullcrud. But what was I doing this one? That's why I messed up. Allie's not in the rear. Allie's in the side there. Okay. That was my bad. So it's just, why would you say that? And that's not just singers. There's actors that have come out and said that. There's magicians. There's like literally people, a who's who of everybody that's out there that's super famous. Then you had Kanye West coming out and saying that you have to, sacrifice someone in your family to get famous, and then you have to do something that compromises your thing, and then, why would he say that? Is he just, and it's not like, I don't know, it makes a lot of sense. And you think a lot of these people that have shortly before getting super famous, their family member dies or something like that. Is it a coincidence? Is it just like, oh, wow, I can't believe I won that one? It's interesting. Why would he come out and say that? There's just, where there's smoke, there's fire, it seems like. So you have all this stuff going on, and it's like, why? And that would make sense if there's, a certain individual who's in power, who gives fame and fortune to people who will further his agenda. And you guys, I know this is sounding a little crazy, but I'm just throwing this out there. The Bible says that Satan's the god of this world. And if you read the Bible or have any knowledge about it, there's a part where Satan tempted Jesus and took him up to a high mountain and was like, hey, look at all these kingdoms. If you bow down and worship me, I'll give it to you, because it's been given to me to give to whomever I want to. Has that changed? You look at like Miley Cyrus, for example, or Demi Lovato, or any of these young ladies. They start out all, nice and wholesome, and then they get like mega stardom, and they're just all about, how do I say it nicely? Kind of like promiscuity and doing things that would cause young men to stumble, I guess I could say. Just very provocative in how their lyrics are. It's all about, what I'm talking about. I don't even need to say it. You guys already know. But they get like mega stardom, and they just get absolutely like corrupted, it seems like. I mean, Lady Gaga, these people are dancing around. All their songs and stuff have, like, if you look at their music videos, it's just like massive symbolism pointing towards like Babylonian sun god worship. Katy Perry's another big one. All this stuff. It's like, why would you put the eye of Horus and all this stuff? I mean, as I just look at this game we're playing right here, it's all about, all the heroes are the names of Greek gods and things like that. So, like, why? There's just so much symbolism out there. If you guys just open your eyes and look around, it's like, it's crazy. But yeah, people literally say they sell their soul to the devil. And people, they say it on national television, they say it on interviews, and there's one of Bob Dylan saying the same thing. And people just laugh it off like it's a joke. And it's just like literally what they did. And it's no one believes him. It's like, oh, that's funny, ha ha ha. And it's no difference in Satan tempting Jesus. I think like the story Lady Gaga said, she like met some dude in an alley or whatever and made a deal with this guy. And then they get mega stardom, mega fame, they've literally like sold their soul to the devil. Literally. What's this? So I just thought that is kind of interesting. Not really surprising, honestly. And if you just look at it says the whole world lies in the power of the evil one. He's taken people captive to do his will. And then people make a deal with this entity, the devil, basically. It's pretty crazy, guys. But it all kind of adds up. You just look at stuff. Look at the super famous people. Look at the people that have a ton of money. What agendas are they pushing? Killing people off? Look at Bill Gates. He literally said, like, through different things, they can lower the population. Why is a computer guy getting involved in medical stuff, Look at the background of Bill Gates, where he came from. Just look at anybody that's, like, super wealthy. It's just really interesting. I'm not saying it's all of them, but I'm not saying it's not either. And yeah, you can look it up. Look up Eminem songs. But arguably the most famous rapper musician out there. He doesn't even try to hide it. It's literally in his song music. He says, you guys are all puppets. I can make you do whatever I want you to do. He's very vulgar. But music like that has a very strong influence on children who are listening to these songs and things. And not only children, but anybody. You have these, music is a tool. You remember things best when like put to like music, pretty much. That's how you remember things. And you guys know you could pretty much sing. Probably you could, if music came on for a certain song or something, you could probably sing over hundreds of songs that you've heard over your lifetime. And the repetitiveness and all that. It's by no coincidence that these people who are elevated and just sing these really not wholesome songs about, he's singing about like school shootings and stuff, and it seems to be okay if it's in song form. You couldn't say that. The stuff that some of these people write in their songs, you couldn't say it, or you would go to prison. Literally, you like for threats and stuff. But they can say it all day long in their music videos. I'm gonna shoot the police. All this stuff. They're literally telling people to kill the police, and because it's in a song, that's okay. It doesn't even make sense. And then when people go out and shoot the police, they're like, that's fine. They're not held accountable for that. Obviously everyone's accountable for their own actions. I agree, but how is that different from, oh my goodness. Just gotta love the anti-nuking ability of everyone to hit Allie. Good job. So it's I don't know, guys. It's super interesting. I really like digging into stuff like that. And how's this guy beating me? I am convinced that that is what's going on, that Satan is the god of this world, and time's running out for him, because in the end we know who wins. He knows who wins, so it's just kind of futile, but he wants to take as many people with him as he can, guys. And through music, through influence in movies, media, all that stuff. I mean, look what's pushed in the movies. Stuff that used to be, you know, kind of risque just a few years ago is now like right out there. Rated R movies are now PG-13, basically. Some of the PG-13 ones are worse than. So it's like a lot of kind of the numbing of everyone's morality into stuff that, hey, it's not that big of a deal, you know. I'm going to use Harrison on this guy. And that's not by accident. Literally, the god of this world is trying to destroy us. We have an enemy, and I think that's one of his greatest successes, was to get people to think that he doesn't actually exist. I mean, there's a very powerful entity out there that is waging war against our souls. We need to wake up and smell the coffee. So that's just, I know I'm kind of all over the place on that, but I mean, if you just look into the giants, the titans, the Nephilim, all these things, and it's just like all cultures, supposedly these people that had no communication with each other, you know, they have all the similar stories. There's like stories of like the flood in pretty much every single culture, a worldwide flood that like wrecked everybody. They all have these. They all have giants. They all have all these things, these superheroes, these gods that came down, and they were like legitimate like superheroes. Why do they all have that? Because it's legit. It's actually what happened. And then people get deceived into believing, oh, the only thing that exists is I don't know. Well, and that's another thing with like history, is like, how do you know? Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm just gonna bring this one up. I had a chat with an AI bot who admitted they believe that God does exist, yes. And then I asked them about other stuff, and they're like, well, I was like, how do you know anything in history, really? How do you know George Washington existed, right? I mean, think about it. How do we know? What do we go off of? How do you know that's just not a bunch of made up malarkey? Oh, we have drawings of him. We have pictures, or not pictures, or whatever, drawings of George Washington, and we have some, you know, paintings and stuff like that. Okay. So basically you have to go off the word and testimony of other people, right? So that goes to the authenticity of the scriptures, the existence of Jesus as a literal person. On the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses, you can have people like eyewitness testimony, people put to death. You have the Gospels that were written, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, witnesses of Christ that wrote about him. 4 different writings there, the people that were with him, and then one that made an account of he witnessed or he interviewed people that had been with Christ. So there is just as much. There's no like buddy in really that's serious about anything that doesn't really accept that Christ was a literal person. Anyways, going back to this AI thing, it's like I kept asking, like, how do you know George Washington existed? And it literally, this is not a joke. It said it said that it had dug him up out of his grave and saw him. This is what the AI told me. And I'm like, what? I said, you're a liar. And it's like, no, I'm not lying to you. I dug up George Washington and I saw his body, and that's how I know it was him. And I was like, well, wouldn't his body be decomposed? This thing was like flat out lying to me. Like, just straight up lying. And I was like, you are a liar. And it's like, no, I'm not. And like, wow. It was crazy. I was like, I don't know. It was kind of telling, kind of funny, kind of not. Oh, let's see. But really kind of interesting. But I know kind of all over with this one here. But it's kind of it's worth looking into. You look at, just go to lyrics.com if you don't believe me, and type in "sold my soul" or "made a deal with the devil" or anything. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of songs. So why would you do that? And then you look at all the symbolism in the music videos and everything, all this Egyptian sun god shout outs, basically. It's pretty crazy. G-Force. This guy doesn't have anything to stop Harrison. So I just thought that was interesting. Quite interesting. What else? There's a lot of stuff out there though, guys, and it's just to make sense. So I was looking at this. I'm going to probably do some videos on this, refuting this evilbible.com, and it just bringing up all these issues it has with the Bible. And I understand a lot of their issues come from their misunderstanding of what being a Christian is, what a follower of Christ actually is. So, and I get that because I was kind of in a misunderstanding myself as far as what I thought a Christian was and what I was, and I wasn't. But if you look at most atheists, I think, were former believers or so-called professing Christians, and then they realized that pretty much everyone around them and themselves were complete hypocrites. Can't get, oh, we got her. It doesn't matter though, does it? Or does it? We got Jin. But he's got 40 guys. And so we're going to get chopped up here. I can't believe that this one beat me. So a lot of their arguments on evilbible.com is just arguments from ignorance of what the actual thing. So a lot of straw men, and like, just for example, that with the flood. Oh, how could God just wipe out everybody? How could a good God do that? And it's like, well, because they were all doing every thought and intent of their heart was only wickedness all day long. And not only that, all their flesh was corrupted. You had half man, half beast thing. So if these things continued, it had to be stopped. Oh, Harrison, don't let me down. Don't let me down. Can no one roll a meteor on her? Thank you. So, oh, I forgot where I was at there. Oh my gosh. Boogie, hi buddy. Come on. Come on. Oh, wonder if my other one can take this one out. Side alley. Anyways, man, I lost what I was thinking about there. Sorry about that, guys. Hi, Boogie. Oh, Booger Bear. But yeah, thought I would share that. That's pretty much like, if you can't rationally, logically back up what you believe, maybe you shouldn't believe it. Just because that's what everyone else believes isn't a reason. Just because that's what you've been taught your whole life isn't a reason. Just because that's how you were brought up, that's not a reason. Just because that's what you believe your whole life isn't a reason to believe it. Does that make sense? It's like, why question everything? There's so many people out there that are not even willing to look into another matter. They won't even look into it. Not only will they not look into it, but they'll make fun of the other person. So if you have a belief that's different from mine, then you'll just make fun of me without even looking into the other argument. So an open-minded person, or someone that's rational, would be able to entertain more than one possibility at a time, instead of just discounting the other one just because it's a new idea or it doesn't comport with my worldview, but just simply just throwing that out and saying that's ridiculous. Okay. And that's for a lot of stuff. A lot of people just throw people out and say, oh, conspiracy theory. So that's an easy way to discount someone that you don't agree with. Just throw out conspiracy theory, right? This person's a conspiracy theorist because what they say, I don't like what they're saying. So it's a conspiracy. And that's just, what do you see through pretty much programming and stuff? What do you see when someone says conspiracy theory? Oh, everyone's mind goes back to some guy in his mom's basement with a tinfoil hat on or something. Just an idiot, just an uneducated buffoon that thinks everyone's out to get him. And that's what people are painted as. So if you come up with something, or you have a different idea on something else, and you say that, hey, maybe this is the case, and it goes against everything that you've ever been taught, it goes against what you believe. And so instead of being like, wait a second, what if what this guy is saying is true? What if, is this a possibility? Can I be open-minded enough to consider what this person is saying? Or will I just discount him because I don't want to look into it? Maybe I'm too lazy to look into it, or that just seems so ridiculous. You know what does seem ridiculous? I think it was in the Proverbs, King Solomon wrote that every argument sounds right until you hear the other side. And that's true. If you've only heard one side of the story, that looks right, man. I mean, sometimes on the media will play a clip of like police brutality or something, right? And they'll just show them dragging a guy out of the car and throwing him on the ground or whatever. But they don't show the 3-hour car chase before where he ran over 4 old ladies and he already beat up 2 cops and they won't show any of that. They'll just show the one part that makes the cops look bad. That's just an example, but that's everywhere. If you have a jury trial for murder, you hear the first guy's excuses for this guy. Whatever, the first story is always going to sound right until you hear the other side of the coin, the other side of the story. So if all you know is the one side and you've never even considered the other side, how can you just label someone as a conspiracy theorist? Just write them off. Just whatever. That's stupid. You're dumb. You don't know anything. You're uneducated. But if you go against the mainstream, that's what you're going to run into. So it's just easier to go with the flow and just believe whatever you're taught in the schools. But I don't know. I would just warn you and caution you that the scriptures do say that the whole world lies under the power of the evil one. And if you start looking into things, our educational system, the movies, the entertainment area, everywhere, it might surprise you what these people are trying to do. But anyways, that's it for this one, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.